Recording it. Okay, so we were, I think, in the last class, or rather, let me put it this way: last to last class, we were trying to, set up release procedure, and then during that time, we have some internet connection disturbances, so we could not able to complete it properly. One second, Lakshmi is calling. Morning, Lakshmi. మీరు జాయిన్ అవుతున్నారండి? అంటే మీకు ఒక వేరే మెయిల్ పంపించానండి, శ్రీధర్ దగ్గర నుంచి వచ్చిన మెయిల్ మీకు ఫార్వర్డ్ చేశాను. దాంట్లో మీటింగ్ ఐడి ఉంటుంది. ఫస్ట్ మీటింగ్ ఐడి యూ హ్యావ్ టు యూజ్ ఇట్. లెట్ మీ గివ్ యూ ద మీటింగ్ ఐడి ఆల్సో. ఇట్ ఈస్ 67467. ఏదండి, మన రెగ్యులర్ కాదండి. నా మీటింగ్ ఐడి ఎక్స్పైర్ అయితే నేను శ్రీధర్ రిక్వెస్ట్ చేశాను. సో ఈ క్రియేటెడ్ ఎ మీటింగ్ రిక్వెస్ట్ ఆన్ బిహాఫ్ ఆఫ్ మీ. మెయిల్ చెక్ చేసుకోండి. The meeting ID would be 674-591-573. No, 674-591-573. Yeah, I'm just started in the mid ready. Right, thank you. Okay, so we were discussing about the release procedure, the way, what is release procedure, what are the things that you need to consider for setting up release procedure, on what basis the approvers will approve the document, so on and so forth. Okay, so let's move on to the slides. Okay, so by the way, can you all see my screen and you can hear my voice, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. So the approval procedure, this is how it goes. You can set it up, the approval procedure, that is online approval process, which is what we call it as release procedure on the purchasing documents. You can even set it up on the invoice also, but of course that's a different procedure. So when you set up the release procedure or the online approval process on the documents, unless you complete that activity, you will not be able to carry out the next or the subsequent steps. For example, if you set up a release procedure on the purchase requisition, unless the approval is completed, you will not be able to convert the purchase requisition into purchase order. Similarly, if you set up a release procedure on the purchase order, unless you complete the release, or rather unless all the approvals of the document is approved, you will not be able to transmit the purchase order to the supplier. So the key here is who are all the people to approve and whether they have approved it or not. Only when the document is approved completely, it will be released for the next steps to be carried out on that particular document. Hi Lakshmi. Okay, so if you are not speaking or if you have no queries, can you guys please be on mute? I think I have a couple of beeps. I guess one is Sudhakar, the other one is Lakshmi. Okay.
Sir, what's happening?
Yeah, we were discussing the release procedure, Lakshmi. We just started. Okay, so how to set up release procedure?
Okay.
The
Yes.
key terms that we have to understand it. So let me just open the Excel file. Let me write it here. So these are the steps that you need to carry out. The first thing is, while you are setting up release procedure, you need to identify based on what parameters would you like to approve the document. Okay, So based on what parameters would you like to approve the document? So that's the first step that you are supposed to carry. That is, so step number one, I would say identify the parameters to approve the parameters, I would say used to be used to approve the document, and define them as characteristics. Okay, so this is the first step that you need to define. Let's say, now let me ask you the question, maybe either of you three, Radhika, Pavitra and Lakshmi, can answer. You would have seen the approval process or the release procedure in your day-to-day activities. What are that you are supposed to look at and when you are approving the document? Let's say you have been asked to approve the purchase order. What are the things that you will be looking at? Can you guys give me, or do you want me to choose on my own?
Okay.
Yes, Lakshmi, go ahead.
So can you repeat the question?
Sir, there would be.
There was some disturbance.
Yeah, the question is, let's say if you three have been set up as an approvers, or rather you take your own organization, and I'm sure you must be having approval procedures set up on the purchasing documents. Based on which parameters will your approvers in your organization approve the document?
The limit, execution authority limit.
I would
We
say
have a 50,000.
that is purchase order value, right?
Yes. So if the purchase order value exceeds above 50,000, we need approval from the site.
No problem.
So we don't.
No, Lakshmi, Radhika, let's discuss about the figures. Okay, 50,000, less than 50,000 or 100,000.
We can process it.
Those figures we will discuss it in the next 10 minutes. First of all, let me identify the parameter. You said one, the value, that is purchase order value, is one parameter which we will be looking at it. And what else?
Yes.
What else? Is it purchase organization, purchasing group, or a company code, or is this?
Authorization levels.
I'm sorry?
Authorization level, sir. Matlab is designation.
Okay, designation in the sense.
You should have the author.
Go ahead, Lakshmi.
Which group, or you might want to call it as, in terms of technical terms, it should be a purge group. You should be having assigned to that particular purge group.
Okay, so let me go with purchasing group and then say company code also. Okay, can I go with these three?
You should have, you should have, yes.
Or you want me to go with plant also? Okay, so let me put these four values. Let's say if a purchase order is created for a specific plant of a certain company code, and if the purchasing group is created by XYZ buyer, and if the PO value is less than say 10,000, these are the group of people to approve. That's what I'm going to specify. Okay, define them as characteristics. That's the first step that you have to do it. Second step, what you have to do is create a class. Okay, I would say instead of simply class, I would say create a release class and assign the characteristics. Okay, defined in step 1. Hi Sudhakar, morning.
Morning.
Okay, so create a release class and assign the characteristics defined in step 1 to the release class. Okay, so this is the second step that you have to do. Okay, here let me update it. Create a release class with, I would say, class type. There are different class types which we use it. Okay, the rest of the class types we will use only class type 032 while setting up the release procedure. The rest of the class types I will explain you when we work with classification and batch management. At that point of time, we deal with 001, 002, 010, 011, so on and so forth. Right? So for time being, we restrict ourselves with only this one. Then, step number 3, right? I would go with who are the groups. I would say identify the groups of people to approve the document. Okay, or you can say these steps can be done one first, second one later also, but it should be you have to complete all these steps. Okay, then there is something called release codes. Okay, for each person to approve, you will have a release point or a release code that needs to be assigned. Assign the release code / point to, I would say, release groups. Identify the groups to approve the document. Okay, let me append it here, and create them as release groups. Okay, create them as release groups. Then what's the next step? There is something called release indicators. You have to specify, you have to have certain keys with which system understands that a particular document is either completely approved or rejected or not approved. These statuses are identified by using keywords called release indicators. I would say define release indicators to I would say to indicate the status of the document. Okay, then in the next step, that's point number 6, here I will be setting up the release, or I would say approval strategy. Okay, so actually while setting up release strategy, here I will have to perform multiple tasks, 6 of A. Okay, while setting up release procedure, I have to understand what are the prerequisites. Okay, setting up release strategy. In this, let me put it as strategy 1. Okay, which Radhika is saying, if PO value less than, how much did you say, Radhika? 50,000. Or rather, let me take it my own. Okay, if less than 50,000, or rather less than, let's say, 1,000. Okay, let me put it as less than 1,000 INR, no approval is required. Okay, strategy 2, right? Strategy 2, let me put it here. If PO value, okay, is between 1,001 and up to here 10,001 INR. Okay, that is strategy 1. Then rest of the things are common. I assuming rest of the things. What are the rest of the things? These are the ones. Okay, what you call the purchasing group. Rest of the things are common. Then this one, strategy 3. For example, PO value is between. I'm sorry. Okay, let me correct this one to 10,000. Okay, so then here PO value is between 10,001 to 50,000. Okay, is it 50,000? Yes, it is. Similarly, so strategy, this is 3, this is strategy 2, and here I'm going to write it as strategy 4. PO value, I would say above 50,000. Strategy 5. Okay, so these are my strategies. So now in the 6th step, okay, how do I set up? So 6 of A, okay, there is something called release prerequisites, okay, which will tell you the sequence of approvals. Who should approve first, who should approve next, who should approve at later point. Then similarly, there is something called release classification. I'll come back to this each and every step while we are going with the demo. Then there is something called set release indicators. Okay, and then there is one more thing here, what we call it as simulation, right? So now let's work with each of these steps. The first thing that I said, identify the parameters to be used for approving the document and define them as characteristics. So here, while doing this, the transaction code which you will be using, okay, which will be using is CT04. Okay, let me put it here. I'll write it here. CT04 is the transaction code. So let me log into the system, or rather, let's see here. Do I have anything here? No. So this is our system, and 2, 3. You need to understand one more thing here. The first 2 steps, these are master data. Okay, though this is available in configuration, right, but this is part of master data. Okay, so I would say this is master data setup, right? So look at here, because it's a master data.
CT04 answer.
Create characteristic. I'm going there, sir. Have a look at it. Because it's a master data, it is available under SAP Easy Access. If you go into logistics, you would see something called central functions. The characteristic definition is used at multiple places. Characteristics are used while setting up release procedure. Characteristics are used while setting up batch management or batch procedure or batch determination. Characteristics are used even for classifying materials or vendors, isn't it? So like this, we use the characteristics at many places. Why your system is too slow? Well, if it is very slow, let me use transaction code.
Venkat, meanwhile, I would like to ask you a question on the topic first.
Yeah, please.
Whatever we define here in MM for the release procedure, is that the same applicable to SRM as well?
No.
Shopping cart. So you need to define an SRM separately.
Yes. The SRM
Okay.
shopping cart is different from ECC purchase requisition or purchase order. You know, both are
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
two different objects. So you have to set it
Yeah,
up
yeah, got it.
independently.
Sure.
Come on, what's happening? But can you please try logging into this system, or is this the system that we are using? I think so. Just give me a moment.
Sir, I'm trying to log in from the past half an hour. It is not. We are not getting into login.
Oh, is it? You should have let me know.
Yeah, there is a network problem, I think.
Give me a call to him. His name is Veera Reddy.
The problem is same from 9:30.
అలా నా మీరు చెప్పుండాల్సిందండి. I would have given him a call, he would have rectified it.
I thought only because of my internet connection it is happening, I thought.
No.
What is problem? Are you not working this net? Huh?
Veera Reddy గారు మార్నింగ్ సార్ నేను వెంకట్ అండి. సిస్టమ్ పని చేయట్లేదండి. మన EHP 5.0 సిస్టమ్ నేను క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను, జస్ట్ ఇప్పుడే చూశాను. కొంచెం ఇమీడియట్గా రెక్టిఫై చేయగలరా? I mean, we are not getting the connection. Partner not reached. Yeah, net వస్తుంది. I was in the go-to meeting and I've been using different tools. Ping చేయమంటారా? One sec.
నాకు మా సిస్టమ్ షేర్ చేయొచ్చా మీకు? వెంకట్ సార్
సార్ ఫోన్లో మాట్లాడుతున్నారు.
ఓకే
ఒక్క నిమిషం అండి. Let me take the IP. Ping 122.169.246.136. Seems it's not going well already. Request timed out. Yeah. ఇప్పుడు అంటే నేను ఒక 1 minute క్రితం నేను లాగిన్ చేయడానికి ట్రై చేశాను. లాగిన్ పేజ్ ఓపెన్ అయ్యి యూజర్ ఐడి పాస్వర్డ్ ఇచ్చిన వెంటనే డిస్కనెక్ట్ అయిపోయింది. ఆ తర్వాత ఇంకొక స్టూడెంట్ మీరు 3 ఐడీస్ కదా క్రియేట్ చేసి ఇచ్చారు, అందులో ఒక ఆమె ట్రై చేస్తూ ఉంటే హాఫ్ అన్ అవర్ నుంచి ట్రై చేస్తుందంట తను. ఆమెకేమో అసలు యాక్సెస్సే కావట్లేదట. షీ థాట్ లైక్ షీ హెస్ గాట్ సమ్ ఇంటర్నెట్ ప్రాబ్లం. బట్ ఇంటర్నెట్ ప్రాబ్లం కాదు, బట్ ప్రాబ్లమ్ మీ దగ్గర నెట్వర్క్ ఏమన్నా ఎక్కడన్నా కేబుల్ ఎవరన్నా తగిలి ఊడిపోయిందా ఏంటి? ఐ సీ. కొంచెం చూడగలరా ఇఫ్ యూ డోంట్ మైండ్? కాదండి, అది ఏంటంటే నేను ఐ హ్యావ్ టు షో దెమ్. అంటే మేము ఆక్స్ టెక్స్ట్ అవన్నీ క్రియేట్ చేసుకుని ఉంటాం కదా, ఐ హ్యావ్ టు షో దెమ్ ఆన్ ద సేమ్ సిస్టమ్, సేమ్ వాట్ యు కాల్ అదే క్లయింట్లో అదే ఆర్గనైజేషన్ స్ట్రక్చర్ అదే కంపెనీ కోడ్ మీద చూపించాలి. ఎవరు లేరా? కుర్రాళ్ళు ఎవరు లేరండి వెళ్ళడానికి? మీరే వెళ్ళాలా? ఒకసారి చూడండి, అని అవకాశం ఉంటే ఒక 10-15 minutes. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, Andy. System is down, it seems. He says it should be working, but as we can see here, it's not working. So he said like he'll go and have a look at it. Okay, so let me use this time to give you some theory. సుందరరావు గారు మీరేదో అడుగుతా ఉన్నారు.
నా సిస్టమ్ మీకు షేర్ చేయొచ్చా అడుగుతున్నా.
మీ సిస్టమ్ నాకు షేర్ చెయ్యగలరా? నాకు ఐ డోంట్ నో ఎడిట్ ఆప్షన్ దీంట్లో ఉందా లేదో ఐఎమ్ నాట్ షూర్. అనదర్ యూజర్ ప్రెసెంటర్ చేయొచ్చు బట్ గివింగ్ కంట్రోల్. యా యూ కెన్ గివ్ ఇట్ టు మీ.
మీరు ఇచ్చిన ఫీల్డ్స్
యూ కెన్ గివ్ ఇట్ టు మీ సార్. ఇక్కడ మీరు చూడండి ఈ ఐకాన్ ఉంది కదా. Okay,
సార్.
1 second. I'll give you the presenter role. So what you have to do is, మీకు ఇక్కడ ఒక ఐకాన్ వస్తుంది, కింద నుంచి మూడవ ఐకాన్, దీన్ని క్లిక్ చేయాలన్నమాట మీరు. Let me make you the presenter. Sundar Rao. Okay. So request keyboard and mouse control. Yeah.
ఓకే సార్, షో మై స్క్రీన్ వచ్చింది.
కొట్టండి. అట్లా కాదనుకుంటాను. గివ్ మీ 1 second. I think I made a mistake. Venkat P. Okay. Show my screen. What I have to do is I have to give control of the keyboard and mouse to attend it. I cannot give it that way. Okay, so it means I have to make you presenter and then take the control. Sundar Rao. Right. Yes. Then you go with show my screen.
గివ్ కంట్రోల్ వచ్చింది.
Yeah, ఇవ్వండి, క్లిక్ చేయండి. మీ స్క్రీన్.
ఓకే క్లిక్ చేయాలి.
యా ఓకే. మీ స్క్రీన్ కనపడట్లేదు నాకు. మీ స్క్రీన్ కూడా షేర్ చేయాలి మీరు.
ఓకే కొట్టేశాను. షో మై స్క్రీన్ వచ్చింది.
ఇవ్వండి. సే ఎస్.
వచ్చింది సార్.
యా ఓకే. నౌ థ్యాంక్ యూ. రైట్. మీరేంటి అట్లా వెళ్ళిపోతున్నారు? ఇందాక మీరు ఎస్పీఆర్ఓలో ఉన్నారు, ఏమైంది అది?
ఎస్పీఆర్ ఉంది దాంట్లో. ఎస్పీఆర్ ఓపెన్ చేసి లేదు సార్, చేయలేదు సార్.
ఓకే కీప్ ఇట్ యాజ్ ఇట్ ఈస్. నాకు కంట్రోల్ రాలేదండి.
లేదా
సిన్స్ it's not there. You have controls. I have control. If I okay, 1 second. Okay. Right. మీరేం చేయదు సుందరరావు గారు.
నేనేం చేయట్లా.
Okay. All right, guys, have a look at this. I'm going into logistics. So from here, you have something called central functions. If you look at this one, central functions, as I told you, this class creation and characteristics creation, it's part of multiple applications. So therefore, this is placed under central functions, characteristics and class creation. So when you go into it, you have something called engineering. From here, if you go into bottom, you have this environment. Okay. Under environment, you will have classification. So when you go with classification, you see here class. Okay. Sorry, master data. Okay, so once you are in the master data, you have this characteristics. Let me just go with characteristics. So this is transaction code CT04. Okay, so here what we have discussed, I wanted to make PO value. Okay, PO value is one of my characteristic, isn't it? PO value is one of my characteristics. So what